This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
It is Alyssa Orange from Pig Trail Nation joining us here for this segment. Alyssa, what's new in your world? How are you?
I'm good. I'm doing well. Getting ready for the women to kick off their season tonight, and it's been a fun morning because I've been on a JMU Duke Dog high after last night. So
not going to play in a bowl game though. But tell me what's going on with JMU. And I mean, is there any chance whatsoever? You think that they get a postseason football game of some sort? Because they can't even. I don't think they even play in the Sun Belt Championship.
Well, no, and it's kind of crazy, and it's that NCAA rule where you can't be eligible for the postseason for the first 2 years. But they tied the Sun Belt a year ago, and they're in the top of the standings in the Sun Belt this year. I mean, they're more than ready. They have been for a while to move up to a bigger conference and play. And so I hope so. I know that they wrote a letter and asked for a change in the rule today from the NCAA. Not bad timing coming off that overtime win over number 4 Michigan State yesterday. But, you know, their men's soccer team beat the number 1 team in the country. And if anyone cares why I care about JMU, so I woke up to about 15 text messages from my family group text today. My mom, my dad, and my sister all went to JMU. I was actually born on campus. My mom's water broke in the admissions office, and the athletic director's wife drove her to the hospital. So they are the OG college team that I have followed since I was literally born. So I say all of that, Phil, so that when Arkansas baseball opens up with them to start the year in February and I go to one game with my mom in my JMU sweatshirt, nobody comes after me.
Nobody would ever come after you, Alyssa, even though, I mean, it'd be the same thing as like when, hey, the women's basketball team plays Florida State the day after the men play Duke. So, you know, I mean, that's kind of the little bit of the same thing. Then again, I mean, Arkansas just beat one of your least favorite programs in the entire country on the gridiron. So I bet you got a big kick out of that.
Yeah, it was pretty wonderful being in Gainesville to see all of those sad Gator fans leaving the stadium, and for it to happen for the very first time in program history was pretty cool, because I will have to say they were very, very kind to me. We went to a restaurant, Spurrier's, and they were very, very, very kind to us, took care of us. And so it's like they were trying to chip away at me, but I did not leave with any less hatred for the Gators than when I came.
Alyssa, I was proud of how Arkansas fought. I mean, the game could have went either way. When I looked at what Armstrong was able to do, and we had 4 explosive plays, I mean, just kind of take me through. The offense hasn't had 4 explosive plays in a ball game, since week 2?
Yeah, it's been a while, and I remember looking at Twitter after that happened, and people were like, a deep ball, about time. You know, it was good to kind of see them feel comfortable enough to take shots like that. And, of course, that leads to giving KJ enough time to throw that football. And that's a credit to the offensive line and what they accomplished in those 2 short weeks of things changing over there. And, you know, you also just saw a different swagger with this offense. You saw for the first time them playing as a unit, with KJ being able to make the plays that he was, for the run game to finally get going, to open up the passing game. And so I really liked the body language and the attitude that I saw from this offense on Saturday compared to what we have seen the past couple of weeks.
And yeah, had a 100-yard rusher for the first time to get Rocket back. I think that just helps everybody's confidence, because, I mean, Rocket really clearly is the number 1 running back. And I don't remember Dubinion stepping on the field. Is he okay?
At a family funeral.
Okay. And his arm?
So he was at a funeral, but you're right. You know, to have Rocket back, and I think if there was a game that he was going to play in, it would have been this one, for him to play back in his home state. You know, his son got to see him play in person for the very first time, and Rocket said, you know, it was really special, but it's not going to be his only first. Like, he wants to have a career in football. He wants to be that role model for his son, and that was huge for him. He had a lot of added motivation in that game on Saturday. But I think A.J. Green really balanced it out, too. He ran really hard when we got to see him in the game as well. And so that was really nice to see Rocket kind of solidify himself back in that backfield, and A.J. Green in a compliment to him.
It was a fun game. It was a really fun game. And basketball looked great last night. You mentioned earlier, women's basketball opens the season against ULM today. You get such differences between the men and the women and how the teams are constructed, right? I mean, Muss is the king of the transfer portal and has put together what looks like a really entertaining team filled with veterans who played a lot of college basketball. On the women's side, yeah, there's veterans on this team because I don't think anybody – sooner or later, Michaela Daniels sets the record for games played for the program, and I think, let's see, she's like 9 away from that. Sam's been around for a long time, but you get some really exciting freshmen coming in, and, man, I mean, I think Mike has a pretty good team.
He does, and depth's the one thing that he's talked about all offseason when we've talked to him and asked him about this team, is that they have enough players with talent on this team that they can play different groups of teams during practice, and it doesn't drop off talent-wise. And that's what he's really touted, is the depth, that he can mix and match so many different combinations and nothing drops off. And, you know, they're talking about doing a lot more press this year defensively, so they've kind of changed that up too. And they've talked about, you have Talia Scott who comes in and how she complements Michaela Daniels and Samara Spencer and what she's learned from them. And now she's finally, you know, I think it was eye-opening when Mike Neighbors last week during his media day said that he put Michaela and Sam and Talia all on the table in a room and was just like, you know, you guys have been competing against each other, whether, you know, you feel that way or not, but you don't have to compete with each other for playing time. Like, you guys have proven that you can play together and you're not playing against each other. You can play for each other. And he said there was just kind of a sigh of relief from the three of them because they're so competitive and talented that, you know, they all want to play, but they all can't necessarily be out there at the same time.
Well, you know, and you also have, let's talk about the freshmen here. You know, I mean, we've seen some freshmen come in and just get right to playing immediately, like Sam. Like Michaela Daniels, she's never come off the bench. She started every game as a freshman. Talia Scott, when I hear about Talia Scott, she might be the most talented freshman that Mike's ever have come in. And Jenna Lawrence, man, I think one of the reasons that you feel okay about the depth of the team with Jersey Wolfenbarger leaving the program is that apparently Jenna Lawrence has just kind of come on during practice. And this isn't the freshman who's just going to, you know, play like 10 minutes a game, 15 minutes a game. She's going to be really a big part of this team.
I'm going to tell you what, of all the people we talked to last week during media day, Jenna was by far my favorite. As a freshman, her demeanor, she was not nervous. She is just a ball of personality. She's real. She's confident, but she's fun. She is someone you're like, she's a ball player. She's kind of got that swagger in her where she doesn't feel like you're talking to a freshman. It feels like you're talking to someone who's a junior or a senior about to start, you know, their third or fourth year playing basketball. And so I walked away from Thursday going, she's a baller. She is going to have a big season. And that was just from talking to her, about talking to her game and how she's feeling and, you know, what are some of the growing pains of being a freshman, and her just being so confident in her abilities and in an uncocky way. And, of course, you know, she played high school basketball and graduated from Farmington right down the street. And so that's a lot of pressure when you're the local freshman on the team. And I don't see her having a problem with that kind of pressure.
Got to ask about soccer here for a moment. I saw on the website, you know, they had the video and a photo from the selection show and got all the players there on the photo, and then you see a crutch. And it's like, well, that must be Anna Potagil's. Can this team make a run without her? Do you know anything about her availability for the NCAA tournament?
Yeah, I don't. I didn't have an opportunity to listen to a press conference yesterday. They had a short one with B. Franklin and Colby Hale, and I don't know if they asked about Anna. But that would just, you know, that would be tough considering what she's done for this program. She's been playing since she was a freshman. She was one of the highest recruits for Colby early on a couple, I guess 5 years ago now. And so you hope that she could possibly be a contributing factor, maybe not this week, but down the road if they are playing for a spot in the Final Four. But that's something to keep an eye on for sure. That doesn't mean this team has any kind of lack of talent or swagger or confidence, because they have all of them. They take after their head coach, and I think they're going to be okay. And also, Evan Kamiko just told me that Morgan White's going to be fine.
Okay,
so that's good news too.
That's good. That's good.
How about, you're like, Phil, you know what I mean? You get passed a note in the middle. I feel like Chuck Barrett right now. I get passed notes on updates so I can say it on the radio.
That's right. You got a spotter right behind you. Good work, Evan.
I do.
That's right.
He just got his hair cut, so great timing to come back into the office.
Just perfect TV. Isn't that nice with the folks who have really nice hair? You're talking to two radio guys here. Christian has the nicest hair of the three of us. That doesn't really say very much. Alyssa, last thing. Have we seen Clayton Kershaw for the last time? That shoulder surgery announcement he made on Instagram the other day was, maybe it was a surprise, but maybe again it wasn't a surprise because he wasn't quite the same guy the last couple of years.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm going to have to take some time to process that, right? Just because it's been such a staple for the Dodgers. If it is, you'll be sad, but you'll be happy. It's very bittersweet. If it's not, you just hope it's one more year with a Dodgers uniform. I think anyone would say that the last thing they want is for Clayton Kershaw to go anywhere else just to play one more season. I'd like for him to hang it up as a Dodger, regardless of if it's now or if it's a year from now.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.